All right, hello students. Today we're going to talk about ratios. So first, let's go over a definition of what a ratio is. Now you should remember this from Quizlet. Ratios is a comparison of two quantities. The examples or how they're written is you can write them in colon form, A to B, or write them with the word A to B, or you can even also write them as a fraction, A/B, where A and B are just simply numbers. So let's go ahead and take this in. This is kind of the three different ways of writing it. So let's go ahead and go over an example to kind of put this into some practical form. So let's look at example one. Co-ed soccer team has 4 times as many boys on it as it has girls. Excuse me. We say the ratio of boys to the number of girls on the team is 4-1 because there's 4 times as many boys as girls. We read this as 4-1. So let's go and underline some important pieces of information first. It's a soccer team. That's not really an important piece of information. What's important here is the 4 times. 4 times as many boys as it has girls. So 4 times. The next, we see the ratio of boys to the number of girls is the 4:1. Now here's one form of writing a ratio. We simply read this as 4:1 with the word 2. So first, let's write the ratio that's given. First, we have a 4-1 ratio, which is 4:1, just like is given in the example or in the kind of the problem here. We also can write it with the word 2, 4, 2, 1, because there's 4 times as many boys as girls. And last, the last form we can see is written as a fraction. 4 comes first, so it goes on top. 1 comes second, so it goes on bottom. So these are the three different ways of writing ratios. They might tell you a specific way of writing a ratio. Usually the colon is the kind of the normal form, most popular form, but either one of these would work, and you're going to see them in all different ways. Well, next we need to make a table. Well, we have a 4-1 ratio. If I had 4 boys on the team and 1 girl, well, altogether, 4 boys, 1 girl, that's 5 people total. So this is the total number of players. So as you can see, 5 players is not enough to really play soccer. So we have to increase the numbers, increase the boys and girls, but we have to keep the ratio same. So if I double the 4, if I double the boys from 4 to 8, that means I have to double the girls from 1 to 2. Well, that means since this is now we could add these together, 8 plus 2 is 10, but this just simply increases by 5 or gets doubled. So as you can see, since the boys increased, the girls had to increase, which means the total increased. If one goes up, the other ones have to go up. Well, 10 players, we probably want a little bit more players than that, so let's go ahead and increase this one more time. So the boys have to increase by 4 each time, so that would take this up to 12. If you need to, go ahead and extend this line down. If you don't, that's cool too. This has to go up by 1 because it went up by 4, so 4-1. And now we go ahead, you can increase this line as well. And here we have 15 because this went up by 5. So we look at what happened here, and 15 now is enough to play. If we look at what happened here in each column, we started with 4 boys. Every time it went up by 4. So 4, count by 4 to 8 to 12. Well, since the boys went up by 4 each time, the girls went up by 1 each time. 1 to 2 to 3, and that means the total went up by 5 each time. 5 to 10 to 15. Now we could keep going on forever and ever, but 15 is enough players to play soccer, to give people rest, and things like that. So now we have to write, now we also can write this in word form. This is also called an explanation. Oops, that's not good. There you go. So this is also called an explanation. How do I explain the ratio? If all I'm doing is given these numbers here, we have to be able to write an explanation in word form. Well, kind of going back up to the top, um, the boys come first. We have 4 times as many boys as girls. So we start off for, oops, every, oh, we're talking about 4 boys. How many girls are there? There we are. Oh, sorry, there is, since it's only 1, there is 1 girl. So this is an explanation of the ratio. This is telling me kind of what each of the numbers represent. For every 4 boys, there is 1 girl. So there is your explanation. All right, so that's the first example, talking about what is given and breaking it down into how we write the 3 different types of ratios, breaking it down into tables, how it is increasing each time, and then of course the written word, or writing an explanation for the ratio. All right, go ahead and stop the video, go into the second video over the second example before you move on to the exit ticket. All right, so let's go ahead and take what we learned from example 1 and go over the second example down here on the back page. Suppose now the ratio of boys to the number of girls on the team is 3 to 2. So now we change the ratio from 3 to 2. So let's go over the 3 different ways of writing this. So first, we have the 3 boys now to colon 2. That's one way of writing the ratio. The other way of writing the ratio is 3 to 2. And the last one is the fraction. 3, oops, let's go over 2, excuse me. All right, so those are the 3 different ways of writing the ratio. We have the 3 colon 2, we have the 3 to 2, and we have the 3 over 2 as the fraction form. Well, next we're going to create a table, because once again, if I have 3 boys and 2 girls, that's only 5 people altogether. I need more people than that. So I'm going to make our ratio table. So let's go ahead and draw a line. This one I did not give to you. We need to create it. So let's go ahead and make our 3 columns. Now, why do we need 3 columns if we only have two things going on here, boys and girls? Well, because we need a column for boys. I'm just gonna kind of put B and G. We need a column for girls, and the last one we need a total column. We didn't know how many people are on the team all together. So we need the 3 columns for, these are kind of the different parts. This is called the parts of the boys, the parts of the girls, and then the total, or the whole, would go into the last column. So let's go and start off with what is given. What is given is the 3 boys to 2 girls. Well, if I add those up, that gives me 5 players on the team. Well, once again, that's not good enough, so let's go ahead and increase the boys. Well, to keep the ratio the same, the boys have to go up by 3 each time. So this would go up to 6. The girls would have to go up by 2 each time. So this would go to 4. The total then would go up by 5 each time. That would give me 10. Same thing, well, 10 people, still not enough to play and have enough stubs. So we need to go up again. Let's go ahead and take this up to 9. Because I'm increasing by 3, so 6 plus 3 is 9. Increasing the 4 by 2, by 2 again, excuse me, because that's how many girls there are. So it gives me 6. Add those 2 together, we get 15, or we just increase the total by 5. So this is the kind of combinations we could have. Let me get my pointer out, sorry. We could have a 3 boys to 2 girls and have 5 people on the team. We could have 6 boys, 4 girls, and have 10 people on the team. Or we could have 9 boys, 6 girls, and have 15 people on the team to keep the ratio the same of the 3 to 2 ratio. And of course, as you can see, this added by 3 each time, this added by 2 each time, and this added by 5 each time. Actually, let's go ahead and put that up there. Let's go and put down what we did. So for the boys, we added 3 each time. Let's go ahead and put plus 3. Because this is a 3 to 2 ratio, if I add 3 to that, that means I have to add 2 to this. Well, if I add those 2 together, the total has to increase then by the 3 plus 2 is the 5. All right, so last, let's go ahead and go over our our written explanation of what it means. Well, like we talked about before, first we want to start off with what is given. Well, it's a 3-to-2 ratio. So for every 3, and what does 3 represent? Represents boys. There are this time, because there's 2, not is, there are 2 girls. Oops. So there is a type of explanation. For every 3 boys, there are 2 girls on the soccer team. That's what we're discussing, or what we are talking about. We can even add that in there. For every 3 boys, there are 2 girls on the soccer team. There's your full explanation of what's going on, or what happened on the soccer team. Oops. Where am I going? I'm sorry, I went a little bit too high. So I apologize. For every 3 boys, there are 2 girls on the soccer team. Just want to make sure we were talking about soccer team. I thought that's what was going on, but just wanted to double check. All right, at this time, you and your partner should be able to work on the exit ticket together. So on the next page, you'll see an exit ticket. You and your partner need to work on that together, because we will talk about that towards the end of class.